Hi, Deborah. How are you? It's been 2 months since we saw each other at Thanksgiving dinner. I thought we would see you on Christmas, but somehow things didn't work out and we missed you. How have you been for the last few months? I hope everything is okay.
Hey, what are you trying to say? You sound like you wish something didn't go okay. Did you need me to say something like nothing in my life worked out? I hate it.
Of course not. I was just trying to be friendly. I didn't mean to offend you.
You offended me regardless of your intention. You should watch out what you're saying.
Will do, Deborah. Please don't misunderstand.
Why did you text me anyway? I'm 100% positive that you didn't text me to congratulate me for my son getting a job with a high salary. What else might there be for you to call me? Is there anything you want to say to me?
Actually, that's exactly why I called you. Congratulations, Deborah, for Mark finally getting a job. It took him a while, but it's good that he got one, even better for a high salary. It was certainly worth it to take it slow.
Did you say finally? I'm sure he only took 2 years to get a job, but the unemployment rate is through the roof these days. Why would you say that to Mark? There are so many kids who stick to their parents without a job because they couldn't get one. I'm sure Mark has accomplished a lot. It might sound like bragging, but there's no one like my son. He can be a little spoiled sometimes because he has a free soul. Yet, he has a sociology degree from such a prestigious school like Cal State San Bernardino. And most of all, he is very handsome and tall. Not to mention his nice personality that comes with his good looks. He is a pearl that shines true worth after sitting under the mud for years. Don't you agree with me? He's just the best. I can't ask for more.
Yeah, I agree with you. He can be one of the good ones.
What do you mean he can be one of the good ones? He doesn't have to be compared to anyone else. He is absolutely the best. Is it so hard to agree with me? You don't need to mean what you're saying, you can just pretend that he is the best. What is wrong with you?
Sure, you're right. All moms believe their kids are the best no matter what.
You should see yourself in what you're saying. You're so annoying. I understand that you're jealous of me and my son. But don't be so obvious, because you're pathetic. You're so twisted that you can't be generous to your nephew for once, aren't you? You should say congratulations even if you don't mean it.
That's why I said congratulations and meant it.
So you reached out to me to congratulate me? Because you sound like you're being sarcastic.
That's not true. I genuinely wanted to express my feelings for how happy I am for Mark. And there's one more thing that I wanted to ask you.
Of course there is. I knew that it wasn't just about Mark. What is it?
I heard something about the entire family going on a trip this weekend from Barbara. I was talking to Barbara this morning to discuss what we should do for Kathleen's birthday when she brought it up. She said you're funding a trip to San Diego because Mark got a job, is that true?
Yes, that's true. You heard right.
But you never told me about it. If it's for the entire family, then me and my husband and my kid should be included. I thought maybe you forgot to mention it to me. I wanted to confirm with you because I need to plan ahead.
I didn't forget, I just didn't know how to tell you. I wasn't sure if I should tell you or not.
Why were you not sure about it?
Well, you're always sensitive about me and my son. I didn't know how you would react if I told you Mark got a high salary job. I didn't want to make you jealous. You know how Mark and Nicholas were in the same grade. and went to the same school all throughout their academic years until they graduated from high school. They were in this weird position where they had to compete with each other all the time. And I was pretty uncomfortable with that. You did all you could do for Nicholas to go to a better college than Mark. But look where he ended up. He's staying at home and helping your business from time to time instead of getting a real job. What was your business again? Oh, I'm sure it's so insignificant that I don't need to waste my time asking about it. Well, he went to UCLA. And it's not that much better than Cal State San Bernardino anyway. I was sure you would be uncomfortable with me and Mark if you found out he got a job and your son didn't. So I was debating if I should take you and Nicholas or not. I thought maybe I shouldn't include you guys in the trip. I thought I was being considerate. And I don't mind if you want to come with the rest of us. But I apologize if I offended you. I didn't mean to hurt you.
You didn't offend or hurt me at all. What would the rest of the family think if I didn't come with them for such stupid reasons that don't even make sense? I would love to go on the trip this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
Sure thing. If you say so, I'm making reservations for you as well. Are all of you coming?
Yes, all 4 of us.
Oh, right. Your children don't have jobs, so they should have a lot of free time. I'm glad they can come with us. I'm looking forward to having a girls' night out. Let guys stay at the hotel, and Kathleen, Barbara, you, and I can go out and have our night. How do you feel about going to the bar and having some cocktails and dance?
I guess I can do that. I have never done it, but I can try.
There you go. By the way, I'm leaving a day earlier to see my brother on way to San Diego. He lives about an hour away in Temecula, and I wanted to stop by. I hope that's okay with you.
Definitely.
Great. It's Hilton San Diego Bayfront. I'll text you the address, and I'll see you at the lobby at 7 p.m. on Saturday.
Will do. See you then.
Several days later.
Hi, Deborah. We're at the lobby, but I don't see any of you here. You said it's the Hilton San Diego Bayfront at 7 p.m., right?
Hi, Carolyn, you just got there? Oh no. All of us are heading back home already.
What do you mean heading back home? Didn't you say to meet you at 7 p.m.? I'm sure you said we're spending the night here and going back home tomorrow.
You must be mistaken. I said to meet us on Friday night at 7 p.m. So we can spend the night here and then go back on Saturday.
I'm positive you said Saturday night. You texted me and I have all of that in my phone. Why in the world are you lying about it?
Oh, is that so? Maybe I said it wrong. I was supposed to say Friday, but I said Saturday? I must have been confused. You know I'm going through menopause, and I'm very forgetful these days. I deeply apologize for my mistake, Carolyn. I mean it when I say this that I didn't do it on purpose. I never wanted to offend you. You must have driven hours to get there and it turned out to be for nothing. Say sorry to your husband and kids for me.
Wow, you're talking a lot and making excuses.
What did you say?
Do you think I'm stupid that I would believe your crap? Do you think you can fool us like this?
I said I didn't mean it.
No, you meant every single thing from the beginning. You gave me the wrong date because you wanted to leave me behind. I'm sure you didn't want to invite me to the trip in the first place, did you? If that's what you wanted to do, why did you invite me? You should have told me that you didn't want me to be here with you, then I wouldn't be here. I would have understood. You didn't have to play dirty. Are you happy for bullying me and making fun of me like a child?
Oh well, if you're saying you knew that I didn't want to invite you, I will be straightforward with you. You're definitely right. I didn't want you to join us on the trip to begin with. Why did you want to come if you knew what I wanted? I didn't want to hurt you for something like this. So I tried to keep it low-key that I only wanted Kathleen and Barbara to come with me. You were the one who texted me and begged me to take you because you wanted to come with us. I didn't text you, you texted me. I couldn't say no flat out, so I said okay. But the more I thought about it, the more I felt like it was not the right thing to do to go on a trip with you. I couldn't help it.
Why is that? Did I disappoint you in some way? Why did you have to exclude me from the entire family trip?
Did you really need me to spell it out for you? I didn't like you the moment I met you. I didn't like how you didn't treat me right when I'm the second highest of the family after Kathleen. And how you had the baby in the same year as I did when you got married years later than me. Most of all, I hated that you had a son. My Mark was supposed to be the first, most significant boy in the family. Yet he had to share his grandparents' love with you, son. So he was only able to get half of what he deserved. I hated how Nicholas was a little bit better. Not even a lot on everything, including schoolwork, extracurricular work, and eventually college. How dare Nicholas eat up all the praise and love from his grandparents for being just a tiny bit better than Mark? Listen, Carolyn, I didn't want to be so frank about it, but I can't take it anymore. I hate everything about you, including your son. Thank God, you had a girl after Nicholas. That Mark didn't have to share or compete with his cousins any more than he already did.
That's absurd. Children are gifts from God regardless of their gender, and you were so displeased about my son? Why didn't you have a child before I did? If you didn't want to have your son in the same year as I did?
Go to hell. You know how I was having a hard time for 3 years to conceive a baby. And I ended up having Mark via IVF. How can you say that? This is why I hate you. You're bluntly saying things that might hurt people. Hey, congratulations for having a baby naturally. I'm so thankful that you didn't have to go through.
No, that's not what I meant. You were accusing me for having my baby in the same year as you. And I don't deserve that from you. I became pregnant only after a few months of getting married. And then gave birth to Nicholas a while later. I live my life only by God's will. But if you say that's a crime, I don't know what to say. I've been in this silent competition with you for more than 20 years. Not just 1 or 2, and you think I was happy about that? I was as miserable as you were.
Yes, I was miserable, and I even blamed myself for not having a baby earlier. So what I'm saying is, if you wanted to be considerate, you should have at least tried to have a baby after I had one. You could have waited. Why did you have to rush? You were ignoring me from the beginning. You didn't care how I would feel. If you would have had the baby at the same time as I did. I'm supposed to be your older sister, but you didn't show a bit of respect.
Why can't we be amicable? Having a cousin who is the same age and same grade should be wonderful for both of them. I don't understand why we have to compare them with everything. From the moment they are born. When they were babies, you were so concerned about who walked first, who talked first, or who was potty trained first. As they grew up, you've concerned about who learned English first. or who had better grades. You even had to move to Nicholas' school district because he was better than Mark. You needed to buy everything I bought for Nicholas, including clothings, shoes, and toys, and you needed to get the tutor for every subject. When I got Nicholas a tutor, what did you gain in the end of doing all of that? Did Mark end up going to one of the IB schools because you tried so hard?
Are you bragging about yourself? Because Nicholas went to one of the top schools in the country? You're unbelievable. What was the point of him going to UCLA? When he had no choice other than helping his mom's whatever business. That is because he can't get any other job? I assume he's helping you with the house chores like cleaning and vacuuming. And is that what you wanted for him to do? After you tried so hard to get him to UCLA? This is why people say we never know what's going to happen even tomorrow. Who would have thought that someone like Mark, who went to a not-so-prestigious school like Cal State San Bernardino, ended up getting a high-salary job? And someone like Nicholas, who went to such a prestigious school like UCLA, ended up being jobless and doing dishes at home? Please tell this to Mark in advance so he won't get hurt later. Mark is not willing to help him at all. Don't pretend to be so friendly with Mark so he can ask for help, okay? Let him know he should make a living by himself. By flipping burgers at an In-N-Out or even helping at a construction site.
You're going so overboard of yourself, aren't you? Your son is not officially employed yet. You should stop with the fussing.
What do you mean?
He just got the letter that he passed the interview. But he didn't get the offer letter yet. He didn't submit his ID or W-2. Or anything that his employer needs in order for them to officially hire him.
Well, that's right. But I'm sure he's going to get the offer letter sooner than later. Since he passed the interview. What a buzzkill you are. You're so twisted that you can't wish your nephew well about anything, aren't you?
I'm saying it because I don't think Mark will ever get an offer letter from them. You know why? Because I'm writing a letter right now.
What the hell are you talking about? Are you insane? Who do you think is writing to my son's employer not to accept him? You're funny. Don't be so full of yourself. They're not going to listen to you because you're nothing. Do you hate so much that Mark got a job and Nicholas didn't? Is that why you're writing a letter to them? How can you do that when he's your nephew, too?
Why should I write myself a letter? There's no need for that. I'm not writing to myself, I'm writing to your son to let him know that. He's not getting an offer letter after all.
What are you saying?
I'm saying I'm the president and CEO of the company your son had the interview.
How can you be the president and CEO of anywhere? I heard you're the owner of a small business. But never heard of you being a CEO or whatever. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I wasn't able to tell you because you're so jealous of every single thing I do. You're comparing me and yourself as well. Because you're not enough with comparing Mark and Nicholas. It's so sad that you have to do that without realizing that. Not everything has to be a competition. I never saw you as a competitor. You should ask Mark about the name of the company he applied to. He's will say, MD Architect and Design.
I didn't ask him about the name of the company. But you're saying you're the owner of MD Architect and Design? How is that even possible?
That's right. I'm the MD, Carolyn Dorison. You know I majored in architecture, right? I knew how you would stress yourself and be all competitor mode. If you knew I established a company. I kept it a secret for your own good. That's not wrong, is it?
What do you mean by I was jealous of you? Why would I be jealous of someone like you? When my husband works for one of the big four accounting firms in the country. And I'm sufficient with what I have? My husband and son are more than capable. And there's nothing I should be jealous of.
Look, Deborah, your mouth is saying one thing. But your actions are saying the other. I know what you've been doing. You closely looked at my clothings, shoes, bags, and even appliances. And memorized them every time you came to my house. And you couldn't help but to get the same ones. As soon as you stepped out the door, am I wrong? That was the only reason for you to come to my house. Every once in a while to check out. If I had anything that you didn't have and to get them immediately if there were any. Are you still saying you're not jealous of me?
How in the world did you know that?
Mark told Nicholas and Nicholas told me. He said it's a chance to get what he wants because you always go to the mall and get something the next day you come to my house. He also said you would get him anything if he brings up Nicholas using his name as his excuse to get something. Like if Nicholas has an iPhone. Then you would get Mark an iPhone as well if you want one. Mark was actually pretty excited about it. He could get anything he wanted just by bringing up Nicholas's name. Haven't you ever thought Mark might be affected in a bad way? Because of your jealousy and vanity? How can he grow up to be a normal person? When his mom is wrapped up with jealousy from head to toe.
Shut the hell up. How dare you criticize how I raise my boy? When your boy barely does dishes at home because he can't get a job? You raised him so well that he ended up in your kitchen helping you with your dishes. Because he has all the time in the world as he's jobless, right?
It's true that Nicholas helps me in a certain way. But I'm saying that it's not dishes or house cleaning. Is that so hard to understand for you? Nicholas didn't get a privilege just because he's my son. But went through a fair steps of employment process. He started as an intern and climbed all the way up to the SVP. And now he is capable of assisting me. He is an acting CEO in my absence. I'm teaching him everything I can about running MD Architect and Design. So I can pass it on to him someday. I'm not expecting to be so soon, but it will happen someday. My husband was so worried about his nephew. That Mark couldn't get a job for a long time. So I played in nepotism and almost got him a position, but I guess I was silly. How could someone like you with the biggest self-pride be able to bear to see your son work for Nicholas? I should have known better. I believe it's much better to call it off here than standing against each other. For being in an ugly situation later on.
Absolutely not. Mark was so excited to get a job. And if he finds out that his employment got cancelled because of me, he'll never see me again. Please forgive me this one time. You know how Mark had a hard time getting a job for 2 years. Your company was the only place that was going to hire him.
He might leave you. He must be very upset if he finds out his mom, who urged him and pressured him to compete with his cousin for every little thing in his life since he was little, threw away his chance to be employed after being desperate for a long time. That breaks my heart.
Please, Carolyn, I'm saying I'm sorry. I'll never hate you or bully you or leave you out from the family event. So please hire him. Please send him an offer letter. Everything is my fault. Mark hasn't done anything wrong. I'm the only problem here. I'm a stupid mother who is busy using her son to prove that I was better than you.
No, I don't think Mark working for me is bad for his sake. I'm sure that you'll give him a hard time saying. Your cousin is the president of the company, and why can't you do it? How can I let him work for me when I know how things will turn out so clearly?
That's not true. I will never get in his way. I'll leave him alone from now on. I'll leave you and Mark alone, too.
I don't buy that. And I'm not going to see you or speak to you anymore. This is it. I was being patient and considerate for the past 20 years. But I still haven't gained your sincerity somehow. I regret that if you think I'm still not worth being sincere after all this time. 1 decade changes things upside down. But things between you and me couldn't be changed even after 2 decades. I believe we should quit it here.
No, please don't quit on me. What would Kathleen think of me? If the brotherhood between my husband and your husband were broken because of me? What about holidays and birthdays? I can't handle all of them myself.
Well, I usually paid and prepared for holidays and birthday parties. So you would be in a difficult position if I'm not there. And yet, you should start acting like the oldest sister. That you haven't done for the past 20 years, shouldn't you? That's the only fair way. Besides, you're not alone, you can ask Barbara to help you. After what happened with Deborah, I visit Kathleen only when Deborah doesn't come and I don't see her at all. Mark found out what his mom did and eventually left home blaming his mom for ruining everything in his life. He was greatly wounded by his mom for comparing him with his cousin for every step of the way. And his resentment toward his mom should have piled up. It broke my heart realizing what he must have gone through for more than 2 decades. I heard that he now works for a small company in Kansas City. He moved 1,500 miles away from his mom and thankfully. He said he is living his happiest moment that he's away from his mom interfering and meddling in his life. I feel relieved that he is satisfied with his life now.
Becky, what the hell are you doing?
What's wrong, Mom? I'm outside.
Look at all these dishes. I just cleaned everything a while ago. I swear, the only thing you're good for is creating messes and eating everything in the house. You're so lazy and useless.
What? Mom, you had dinner last night with your friends. Don't you remember? Besides, I've been out for the past 2 days. I didn't even have food with you guys. How come you didn't notice?
I am sick of cleaning all the time. Maybe you should make a contribution to the household once in a while. Instead of hiding in your room and playing games and making those doodles all day. Clean up this mess now.
Okay. No worries. It's just a couple of dishes. I'll be done in like 20 minutes.
I wish you had listened to me when you were younger. Look at you. Jobless, have no social life, no love life, and no plans for higher education. You appear to be a burden. If it weren't for me, you'd be on food stamps in a couple of years.
Mom, will you please relax? I do have a plan. I just don't need to go to college for it.
What is this plan? Flipping burgers? I don't know where you're planning to flip burgers because I barely see you leave the house.
I do leave the house. Like yesterday and the day before that. You just don't notice.
I mean, leave the house to work. Not a random outing.
I do work. I work from home.
Here you are, naive and delusional, as always. With only your cat to keep you company.
What do you have against Sassy?
Excuse me, I have nothing against your cat. Kids out there are achieving milestones. And you're in here in your sweatpants tending to cats. You should be more like Gwen. Have you heard? She's expecting.
She graduated? Really? That was quick. I better congratulate her.
Not only did she graduate college and get a boyfriend, but she's also about to have a baby. Unlike you.
Life's not a race, Mom. I'm in no hurry. Success is different for everyone. Besides, I prefer the company of Sassy.
Yeah. Get back to work and take care of some yard work after this. Don't you dare crawl into bed again. If you're going to stay here, you might as well be useful. I'm not keeping you here for nothing.
3 days later.
Hey, Becky. Please help me get my stuff from the car.
Sure. Looks like you're moving in with us. Are you?
Yes. Tony and I had a big fight. So I'm staying here for the remainder of my pregnancy.
I see. Sorry to hear that. What was the fight about?
He lost his job. And he's cranky all the time. But he needs to take care of me because I'm pregnant. So Mom said I should move in with you guys instead.
Do you really think it was a good idea to have a baby with a guy you just met?
Oh, shut up. What do you even know about love and relationships? Have you ever even had a boyfriend? I bet you never even have one anyone.
Okay. I'm just saying. No need to get aggressive. I just think you might be too hasty.
If you don't know, then be quiet. You don't know anything about life. You're my naive little sister who stays cooped up with a cat all day. You've never held a job or gotten a college education.
You're wrong. I do have a job. I don't think partying and graduating with a low GPA really counts much toward an education.
Oh please, shut up, you crazy cat lady. You're aggravating me. This pregnancy hormones aren't doing me any favors.
All right, I'm sorry.
Good. Go and get me some juice. I'm exhausted, and if you could rub my feet.
I'll get you the juice. But don't get too used to me rubbing your feet all the time.
You have to take care of me. I'm pregnant. Mom said you have to.
You're not even showing yet.
But there are changes happening in my body and I'm always exhausted.
I see. Pregnancy is indeed exhausting. So didn't you have work today?
Oh, I quit. I'm in no condition to work.
There's a thing called maternity leave. Don't you think you should have considered that? How are you going to take care of yourself and the baby without a job?
Mom said you guys will handle it.
Seriously? Has the pregnancy messed with your head or what?
Shh. You talk way too much, and it's really annoying to chat with you. Hurry up, that's hot out here.
Fine. I'm coming.
2 days later.
Mom, have you seen Sassy anywhere? I looked for her everywhere and I couldn't find her.
Why are you asking me? I don't know. She must be hiding somewhere. Look around properly.
She always responds to the sound of a food can being opened. She's not in the house. I'm sure of it. Where could she go? What am I going to do? What if something happens to her?
She'll show up. Stop making a scene. It's just a cat.
She is an indoor cat. She can't survive out there. There are coyotes and cars and all kinds of other predators. How could she have wandered off?
Maybe let it go if you can't find her with a baby on the way. We're better off without a cat in the house. Animals are filthy. It could make your sister sick.
Mom, how could you say that? There's enough room for both in the house. I need to find her. I've had her since she was a kitten. There's no way she can survive without me.
You're overreacting. It's just a cat. If you lose it, you can get a new one.
No, I only want her. She must be very scared now. I need to find her.
Whatever. I don't see it anywhere. Find it yourself.
1 hour later.
Oh, you found her?
Yeah. Thank goodness she hadn't wandered off far. I wonder how she got out.
Silly little guy. I guess we'll never know. Animals. They're so unpredictable. What can I say?
Cut it out. I know it was you.
What do you mean?
I looked into the neighborhood security camera footage. And I could not believe what I saw. It was you.
What are you saying? What did I do?
You were the one who opened the door and threw Sassy out into the pouring rain last night. How could you do that?
No, I didn't do that. Stop going ape on me.
Want to see the footage with me? I know what I saw. How evil.
Fine. It was me. Are you happy? And so what? It's just a cat.
You heartless witch. What makes you think you could move in and throw my pet out? She could have died or gotten lost permanently.
So what? She came back safely, didn't she?
Only because she ran into the neighbor's house. And they were kind enough to let him in.
Her smell was making me sick and she was annoying me. Her fur is all over the house too. Disgusting.
What smell? I take good care of her hygiene. I believe she's cleaner than you.
You are choosing a stupid cat over me and your niece. In my own home.
It's her house as much as it's yours. She has been living here since she was a kitten. I told you, she can't survive on the streets. What you did was beyond cruel. And then you lied about it.
I don't want my baby to be in a house with animals in it.
Then get out. It annoys me that you thought you could just toss her into the streets. Where she probably wouldn't have survived if I hadn't found her. You're the one who moved in here. She already lived here.
I'm trying to help you too. Maybe getting rid of the cat might do you some good. You're so preoccupied with that thing. Maybe it's time you gave it up.
Maybe it's time you gave up your baby.
You're such a troll. Next time I'm taking it to the shelter. Or maybe I'll send it far away so you never find that cat again.
I'd like to see you try. I dare you. Why don't you give yourself to a shelter? A homeless shelter?
How can you say that to your sister? I'll tell Mom about this. She will kick you and that dumb cat out.
Do it. I'm not scared.
A few moments later.
That's enough, Becky. Stop harassing your sister. This is her house too. If you can't deal with that, then maybe it's time for you to move out.
Are you for real? Even after what she did? Even after all that I do for you both? You guys still want to kick me out.
Get off your high horse. What do you do for us?
Wow. Are you seriously implying I don't do anything for you?
You're having delusions of grandeur and being so selfish. Why don't you think about your sister more than your cat?
That's it. I have had enough. I'm moving out. Well, hallelujah. Where are you moving to?
The homeless shelter?
Well, if you must know, I just bought an apartment in New York. I get a lot of projects from there. I figured it was about time I moved.
New York? You are moving to New York? I can't believe it. So when are you going?
The movers will be here in a few days. I have packed up all my things. I'm meeting all my friends and family around here. And then in 2 days, Sassy and I will be off.
You can't move. Who's going to help take care of Gwen and the baby?
Mom, you took sides and you told me to leave.
Well, I can't have you harassing your pregnant sister.
You seriously can't expect me to take care of Gwen after what she did to Sassy. And she should take care of her own baby. She's the one who got pregnant.
Issa. How could you be so selfish? You're about to become an aunt. Where is your responsibility? How can you leave Gwen like this in her condition?
She's a pregnant mom, not crippled. She's using her pregnancy as an excuse to be as lazy as possible. And manipulate others to get her way. And I am done putting up with her.
You can't say it like that. She's a tiny human growing inside of her. You have no idea how hard it is.
For God's sake. She quit her job to move in with us so we could. Or I have to say, I would wait on her hand and foot. And you've turned me into her servant.
So what if you took care of her for a little bit? She's your sister, not a stranger. It's the least you can do.
I can't be at peace in this house as long as Gwen's here. I have to lock Sassy up in my bedroom all the time. Because I'm always afraid Gwen will do something harmful to her.
Just put up with it until the baby comes. Not a big deal.
What? No, Mom. I won't. Things are only going to get worse when the baby comes. Gwen is so irritating. Even her baby daddy won't take her in with him. I am not Gwen's maid. And neither am I your maid.
It's because of that stupid cat, isn't it? You're choosing the cat over your own sister? I always knew you were crazy. But to be so utterly selfish.
What she did was beyond cruel. She hasn't apologized even once. Sassy could have died. She's strictly an indoor cat.
You know what? Just leave. Get lost. We don't need you. You don't even have a real job. I'd love to see how you survive without us. You have always been extremely jealous of your sister.
Of what? I assure you, there's nothing that she has that I could possibly be jealous of.
She has it all. A college degree, a man, and a baby on the way. You wish you could be her.
No, I don't wish I was useless, lazy and dumb like Gwen. Goodbye.
Over 1 month later.
Becky, we're behind on our rent. Why don't you pay what the money Tony sends you? Are you stealing from your sister? Don't tell me that not only are you selfish, but you steal as well.
What? Who?
Gwen's boyfriend. You idiot. Games. This is serious.
Oh, okay, so that is Tony. I've never even met him, let alone received money from him.
But this is absurd. He was paying our rent this whole time.
Seriously? You think Gwen's deadbeat summer fling was paying your rent?
Yeah. To support Gwen while she was pregnant with his kid.
Mom, are you for real? Why don't you ask Gwen directly?
I did. She's taking a nap right now, and I don't want to disturb her. But she said you take care of the rent. If you're worth holding Gwen's money, then pay it back right away.
Mom, what she means is that I was paying your rent.
What? That means you were taking care of Gwen's expenses. And the cost of all those other things?
Duh, of course I was. What, you thought elves were taking care of these expenses before Gwen moved in? It seems she gets her common sense from you.
Oh my God. Gwen is out of control with her expenses. She has no job and asks for so many things. Come home right now.
Oh my God. You wish.
Come home right now and pay these bills, you cunning brat.
Tell Gwen and Tony to take care of it. Sassy and I don't live there anymore. We can't and we will not uproot our lives for you anymore.
Since when can you afford to live on your own? You didn't even have a job or a degree when you were under my roof.
I was working as a digital illustrator from home. You remember that billboard for the cosmetic company?
Yeah, the one everyone in town was admiring.
I designed that along with a bunch of other things for the same marketing campaign.
No way. That is a load of baloney. You can't possibly be doing work like that from home in your pajamas. I refuse to believe it.
You always thought I was drawing doodles. I do projects like that and I make a pretty penny from every single one. Money that I use to help run your house with.
Well, don't be selfish. Send some money to us.
Oh, no way. That ungrateful brat is not getting anything from me after what she did to Sassy.
Then what am I supposed to do? You can't leave me like this.
You caused this. You let Gwen get away with this. You told her to move in and didn't give her a dose of reality when she left her stable job. And got pregnant by some random guy. So now you have to deal with it.
I will not let you insult us like this. Random guy? He's the father of your niece. How dare you?
Well, then where is he? Has he visited Gwen once since she moved in with you? Did you ever get to meet him?
Gwen says she can't contact Tony. Maybe that jerk intended to leave her. It's so sad that she has to go through her pregnancy all on her own. My poor child.
You know what? She's really good at making up stories.
What are you getting at?
The truth is, there ain't no boyfriend named Tony. That pregnancy, well, it's as fake as a $3 bill. Gwen lost her job, and rather than hunting for a new one, she cooked up this pregnancy story to take advantage of us.
That's impossible. You can't be serious.
I'm dead serious. A buddy of mine who works in the same company as Gwen spilled the beans.
So you mean she was deceiving me all this time? That can't be. I'm sure she has her reasons for doing that. Life must be incredibly stressful, which caused her to act that way.
Oh, come on. She partied all through college. She left her job and dumped herself on us. And you kept encouraging her every time she showed irresponsibility and poor judgment. As per usual, no matter what Gwen does, she can do no wrong.
You are so selfish and so jealous of your sister. I can't believe you're burning bridges with us over a stupid cat. You're going to die alone and miserable. You have no friends and no partner. Gwen and I are all you ever had.
As a matter of fact, Mom, I do have friends. Friends that treat me better than you or Gwen ever did. I'm definitely not going to help you no matter what you do or say.
But how am I going to handle her all by myself without you? You must send me money at least. My job won't cover it. Gwen doesn't do any chores. I can't run the house, do the chores, and take care of Gwen too.
Well, that's for you to figure out. It's almost like Gwen isn't having a baby. She is the baby.
I'm in a crisis here.
Well, you should have thought about that before you let Gwen into your house and kicked me out. Now, if you'll excuse me. Sassy needs to be fed. Goodbye. I made the conscious decision to ignore my mom's phone calls. In response, she couldn't tolerate Gwen's laziness any longer and compelled her to find a job and take care of household chores. Gwen faced difficulties in securing employment and managing household tasks. This proved to be particularly challenging for her as she had never been held accountable for her actions before. Both Mom and Gwen experienced the consequences of their own actions, and it wasn't easy for them to coexist peacefully. They argued incessantly. Financial struggles arose as I was no longer there to handle the majority of the bills. Mom and Gwen began to realize the extent to which they had taken my contributions for granted. Mom constantly reprimanded Gwen for her poor decisions. Meanwhile, I achieved new milestones in my career. Eventually, I met a wonderful man, and together we adopted several other cats to keep Sassy company.